What's going on? Motley here, bringing you an OU battle against one of my followers on Twitch, Alpha. If you guys don't know, I stream Sunday 3:30 to 5:30 and Wednesday from 6 to 8 on Twitch. You're welcome to come by. That's where I take most of my battles. So, this is an OU battle, as I said. Looking at the teams, I've got Rotom, Azumarill, Mamoswine, Chansey, Ferrothorn, and Metagross. It's a pretty defensive team, which I think I'm going to have to work on a little bit because it ends up making the battles take longer than I would like them to. My opponent's team, he's got the Gallade, Bisharp, Trevenant, Kyurem, Kingdra, and Galvantula. It's pretty cool. He's got several Pokemon that you don't see too often in OU. So that's pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and get right into the battle, and yeah. Alright. So I like to lead off with my Rotom because it does have the Volt Switch to try and get initiative. So that's what I'm going to do, and he leads off with Hui, the Galvantula. Now, I don't have a Rapid Spinner or a Defogger on my team. When I was designing the team, I was hoping for it to not be too negatively affected by entry hazards, but Sticky Web is not one that I really planned for because you don't really see a ton of Sticky Web in OU. It has very low distribution, and Galvantula is kind of, I think, the best one that gets it. Unless you're going to use like a Smeargle to try and get it up. So, unfortunately, the Sticky Web is going to be there to stay, which could be really bad for my team. However, I do have priority on all of my offensive Pokemon, which isn't really that much. Looking at this team, I've got Metagross, Mamoswine, and Azumarill. So, like I said, I think I'm going to have to work on my team. But he brings in the Bisharp against my Chansey. I brought the Chansey into, Galvantula is not going to do anything to a Chansey. But this Bisharp's certainly going to try and knock off my Eviolite, so I don't want any of that. So I bring out the Ferrothorn. Sticky Web's not really bothering Ferrothorn at all. But, he gets hit by the Iron Barbs, knocks off my leftovers, which is really bad. But then he's also Life Orb, I see. So he's not going to be able to hit me too many more times before dying. I do go for the Leech Seed, but he makes a great prediction and brings out Morningwood, the Trevenant, and he, of course, doesn't take anything from Leech Seed. Now, I figure he's just going to go for Substitute and Will-O-Wisp and Stolly like Trevenants do, so I don't really feel like I need this Ferrothorn for much other than getting spikes up at this point. Looking at his team, every single one of his Pokemon gets hurt by spikes, so I have no reason not to set up 3 layers. He's not going to be able to kill me very quickly, and while he's just dirtling around with substitutes and burning me and whatnot, he probably only has Shadow Claw or even Horn Leech, which would do next to nothing to Ferrothorn. So I'm just going to spend this time putting up some spikes. He brings out Kingdra. Now, for those of you who do not know, Kingdra in this generation does have a kind of broken set that people like to use. You can use Focus Energy, like he's doing right now, and then hold the Scope Lens, which gives you a +1 stage to your crit chance, and Focus Energy gives you +2. When you achieve stage 3 crit chance, you have 100% crit rate now in Gen 6. Of course, they did reduce the damage that crits do, but Kingdra's ability is Sniper, so his crits are going to do additional damage, hence the name Boom Headshot by Alpha. Very clever name. So he is now guaranteed to crit me every time he attacks. Another thing about crits. Crits will bypass any type of negative offensive stat change that you have, and will bypass any positive stat change that the opponent has. So he's going to go for the Draco Meteor, who get -2 special attack, but he's going to crit, so it doesn't really matter. It's going to keep doing the same amount of damage because it will bypass that stat drop. So I bring in Chansey because Chansey does not care about any special attacks. Crits, no, not crits, doesn't matter. This Draco Meteor does less than half, so that's fine. I can go for a Toxic and then heal up on the next turn, and that's great. And this Chansey doesn't actually have any special defense investment, and it doesn't need it because its HP is so high. As long as it's holding its Eviolite with its base special defense and max HP, mine has, of course, max defense and max HP, it can take special attacks from anything, even these crit Draco Meteors from this Kingdra. It's crazy. So Chansey doesn't even care. He brings out the Bisharp, of course, trying to look to knock off my Eviolite. I don't want any of that, but I do soft-boiled on the turn that he switches just to get back up to full HP. if I had gone for Seismic Toss, that would be a dead Bisharp behind 3 layers of spikes. But that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I can bring out a Azumarill and take whatever. He's probably going to go for a knockoff because he wants to hit the Chansey, which I do resist because I'm Fairy type now. But he'll knock off my Citrus Berry, which is unfortunate. So I don't know if he has Sucker Punch. I believe Bisharp does get Sucker Punch, but it's also not that common on him. So I'm just going to go for the Aqua Jet. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's going to die. So that's great. And he sends out his Kyurem Black, a very underused Pokemon in OU, in my opinion. He's going to take 3 layers of spike damage, and I am definitely thinking he's going to go for, what is it, Fusion Bolt, his electric attack. I'm thinking there's like an 80% chance of that happening, so I'm going to bring out Mamoswine. And let's see what he does. He does go for the Fusion Bolt, and I'm immune. Kyurems are very frequently choiced, so he's got to switch out, because otherwise he can't even touch me. He brings out the Galvantula again, and now I'm thinking there's a very high chance of him having Energy Ball. So I go for the Stealth Rocks on the switch. I'm thinking this is a free turn. I don't know what he's going to bring in. I could have gone for an Icicle Crash. He doesn't have anything on his team that will really be fine with taking an Icicle Crash at this point, but the Stealth Rocks are also going to be extremely helpful. Now with 3 layers of Spikes and Stealth Rocks, every switch he makes is going to be very costly. Looking at his team, his Galvantula and Kyurem are both weak to Stealth Rocks. Gallade and Bisharp resist it, but Bisharp at this point is DOA to the Spikes and Stealth Rocks. So I do bring out the Chansey again for the Galvantula. Chansey does not give any cares about what this Galvantula is going to do. I go for Toxic because I don't think he's going to stay in, and even if he does, it doesn't really matter because Chansey's not going to take like any damage. So it was a pretty free Toxic, just predicting the switch. He's going to stay in. I don't care about that. He can paralyze me. I have Natural Cure. I have Aromatherapy. There's no way that this Galvantula is getting through the Chansey. So I just go back up to full because why not? Like I said, he's going to die to Toxic here. It just doesn't matter. So he'll go for another Bug Buzz. Does nothing. I get fully paired. It doesn't matter. I think I went for a Toxic again just because he's going to die to Toxic. There's no reason for me to do anything else. So, there down goes the Galvantula, and what does he bring out now? Now the Gallade Hero. Now this guy is a big problem. He's going to take a ton of damage from Spikes and a little bit from Stealth Rocks. Staying in here, I do stay in. I don't want him to just get a bunch of free setup, so I decide that Chansey has dealt with the special attackers on his team effectively. Might as well just stay in and get a Toxic off on this guy so that he can't get a full sweep, because I do still have, 5 of my Pokemon. Ferrothorn is down at this point. So, Toxic it off, and he starts taking damage. Close combat will kill his Chansey, even with max HP and max defense, because he's at +2. He's a Mega Gallade, got a really high attack stat. It's super effective. Even with max defense, this Chansey's defense isn't that great. So down it goes, and I'm thinking with the close combat defense drop, the Toxic damage, he's at half. I'm thinking I can kill him with an Aqua Jet here. So that's my plan. We'll see how that works out, and go for the Aqua Jet. And he lives with like 1 HP and kills me with a Psycho Cut, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Azumarill down. He'll of course die to the Toxic, but man, that was a big bummer. I definitely wanted to keep my Azumarill around, but at least this Gallade has been dealt with. It did take down my Chansey and Azumarill though, so that's not good. He brings out the Trevenant. It's a double down, so we're both switching blind. I bring out Mamoswine. So I think that either I forgot about the Sticky Web or I wasn't thinking too clearly. I was streaming at the time and I was probably talking to somebody. But he's obviously going to Will-Wisp me here, so with the having the damage by being burnt, getting off an Ice Shard before the Will-Wisp would have done the same damage as an Icicle Crash with the burn, so I should have just gone for the Ice Shard here. But I go for the Icicle Crash because I'm thinking, oh, it's a stronger move, but it kills, so since it's the same, oh, it was a crit, okay. Oh, it was a crit. Okay, well that's great then, that it was a crit. I don't know how much the Ice Shard would have done. I didn't calc it, but that ended up working out great for me. Even if it hadn't critted, I could have gone for an Ice Shard the next turn, and not sure what would have happened there. But, well, you know, it's a game. gets crits. He can't complain about crits, he's using the crit Kingdra. So out comes the Mamoswine to Ice Shard this Kingdra, which takes a ton of damage from all the entry hazards, which are up now. He also doesn't have any way to get rid of entry hazards, Defog or Rapid Spin, so these hazards are around to stay, and they are a problem for him. So he brings in the Kyurem, and Spikes and Stealth Rock take their toll. About at least 40% of his total HP goes down. I go for the Ice Shard, see if I can finish him off, but I am burnt, so it doesn't kill him, the neutral Ice Shard, and he decides that it's time to Outrage. So down goes the Swine. Not gonna live that. And at this point, I was thinking, oh look, I still have my Mega Metagross. I forgot about this. So Metagross, you know, shows up late to the party and decides to make an appearance. Look at all of these legs. Why would any creature need any of these legs? And none of them are pointed at the ground. That seems like a very inefficient design. I don't know how he moves. He seems to levitate, but he doesn't have levitate. So that's unfortunate. So that's the game. Mega Metagross comes in and bullet punches. And yeah, that's the game against Alpha. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you'd like to come and visit my stream, it is Wednesday from 6 to 8 and Sunday 3:30 to 5:30. I take battle requests, and yeah, I hope to see you guys there. Thanks again to Alpha, good game, and we will catch you guys later.